This is a word of welcome and some information about Sears, the world's largest general store. Have you ever given much thought about what it takes to become the largest in the world? Sears was started in 1886 when Richard Sears, the 23-year-old station master of North Redwood, Minnesota, started selling watches. He moved to Chicago and hired a watchmaker named Alva Roebuck. And now, 3/4 of a century later, you can still buy a watch at Sears. But you can also buy just about anything else under the sun. Mink coats and pots and pans, swimming pools and food products, a tank of gas or fishing tackle, a TV set, or a Christmas tree. Furniture, footballs, freezers, fire extinguishers, farm equipment, fencing, floor covering, phonograph records, or female finery. Everything in that big familiar Sears catalog that's as much a part of the American scene as ham and eggs can be purchased at a Sears store. Sears has 11 catalog order plants, more than 1,100 catalog sales offices, and more than 800 retail stores in the United States, Canada, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Central and South America. There are over 70 large central warehouses and more than 50 major service and repair shops. More than 250,000 people work for Sears. There are close to 10,000 service people who work to keep Sears' great reputation for quality and service on top where it belongs. Sears' annual sales are a multi-billion-dollar operation, making it the largest merchandiser in the world. But believe it or not, Sears is just getting started. And since there's no limit to the future growth of Sears, there is similarly no limit to your own growth potential with Sears. Sears believes in the policy of promotion from within. Most of Sears' management people work their way up through the ranks. With this policy, you have the opportunity to progress within the company on the basis of your individual ability, merit, and effort. Nearly half of all Sears executives are under 40. The wages Sears pays are as high or higher than those prevailing for comparable work. But the amount of money you will earn at Sears is determined just as much by the nature and quality of your work as by the number of years you've been in your job. Your work performance will be observed from the first day and will be reviewed with you periodically by a member of store management. Pay increases based on your productivity will be considered at regular intervals. When you're advanced to a more responsible job, you're eligible to receive a pay increase in keeping with your new activity. But how far you go and how much money you earn with Sears is strictly up to you. And there are many more benefits than just good wages when you work for Sears. There's the 10% employee discount on your purchases, paid absences from work, and depending on your length of service and the hours you work, holiday and vacation pay, life insurance, hospitalization, surgical and illness benefits, and after a year with the company, Sears' famous profit-sharing plan to help guarantee your future financial security. Then there are the Sears people you'll meet and with whom you'll associate. You can learn and improve yourself just by watching them and by asking your department manager when anything puzzles you. You learn of all these things and of Sears' rules and regulations in your training handbooks and from your manager. There isn't a better place to work than Sears for planning your lifetime career. But let me remind you of a few reasons why Sears is the world's largest merchandiser and what will be expected of you. Sears is the biggest and the best for a very simple reason. It brings the best products available in the world to the most people at the best price they can possibly get, and then gives them the best service on the products they buy. To tell the people about these products and services so they'll come in the stores, Sears spends millions of dollars in advertising. That's the story so far, but none of it could have been at all possible if it weren't for people. You see, Sears is people, and the most important person is the Sears customer. The customer is the reason for your being here, and while you're not actually selling, the customer sees evidence of your work every time he enters the store. You'll be working in one of Sears' sales supporting departments. You may be a little unsure as to how important your work is to the eventual sale of merchandise. The answer is, it's vital. There are no unimportant jobs at Sears, just as there are no unimportant people. Every extra effort you make to do a better job, to improve yourself and your ability to handle the work that's given you, will be reflected in all the other areas of your store's operation. You'll find working at Sears a rewarding experience. And to get off to a good start, memorize these few points. 1. Follow the procedure that's been set down for your particular job. The way in which your work should be done, the way you'll be shown, has been developed after years of experience. Learn the guidelines you'll be expected to use, and then use them. 2. Learn everything you can about your job. Study your department's basic training handbook, And if you think you've found a better way to handle your job, tell your department manager about it. Sears wants your suggestions. 3, cooperate with everyone, whether they happen to be in your department or in one of the others. Working in harmony with each other is the only way to get the job done properly. Oh, and one more thing. Don't let Sears' size fool you. Everyone working for Sears is recognized and valued as a person. Your family and your future are important to Sears management. The people now managing Sears started right where you're starting, by applying for a job. Then, while they were working, they gave their work everything they had to give. If you'll do the same, your future with Sears is bright indeed. Now, if you'll turn this record over, let's get down to cases. You know, it's just a natural part of being human that we tend to take our work for granted after a while, just as we take for granted the company we work for. We've seen the name Sears so many thousands of times it's as familiar to us as the home we live in. So let's pause for a minute and take a new look at ourselves, the people we serve, and the company we represent. Sears has the best service people in the entire industry. This has been proved time and again. But I think you'll agree that anything, no matter how good it may be, can be improved. Improvement is growth. It gives us security now and assurance in the future. So let's look at you and your job with Sears. The entire purpose of Sears' existence is to provide the people you call upon with the products they buy. That's all there is to it. The millions of dollars of advertising and the many years of painstakingly building the best reputation for quality and service all ride on your shoulders every time you make a service call on a Sears customer. It will be your attitude and the way you handle your job that will determine whether or not that customer remains a Sears customer. You've got to be particularly good because every time you're called, there's a problem with a product that was purchased from Sears. Solving problems successfully for customers of the world's largest merchandiser, that's your job. You already know about the things I'm going to mention here, but let me remind you of them anyway. First, your appearance. You are Sears when you arrive at the customer's home. Look like Sears, the world leader with a reputation for quality that's second to none. Walk like Sears. Talk like Sears. You're the living reflection of everything Sears stands for, and you're the personal representative of all the people who work for your company. You're neat, clean, well-groomed, friendly, and competent. The way you look says nice things about you as a person and as an expert in your line. Second, your approach. As you so well know, women are the strangest creatures known to man. You just never can be sure what kind of mood a lady is likely to be in. She might not feel well. She might have had a problem with her husband or kids that morning. Or maybe she's in the middle of a running war with a neighbor. Approach her as you would a wounded water buffalo if you were armed only with a leash. Smile. Let her know you're from Sears. The name is magic. Just smile and say, "Good morning, I'm from Sears." Her suspicions will vanish. You're a man she can permit to enter her defenseless home. You know, we sometimes forget that most women are secretly afraid of servicemen. It isn't just that they tend to be on the defensive with men generally, which they are, but they're physically afraid of servicemen in the home. The minute she sees you, remove that fear. You're a combination of her father, brother, rescuer, and good Samaritan. You are Sears, and you've come to help her. This approach is vital. Third, listen, and listen with interest and respect. Never indicate by word or manner that you already know exactly what's wrong, which you probably do. The problem may be old hat to you, but it's a personal crisis to her, and women take things personally. When her Lady Kenmore fails to function properly, she doesn't regard this as a man would, that her washer's on the blink. To her mind, the Kenmore people and Sears and the man at Sears who sold her the product are all picking on her personally. Well, let her talk it out, and as she talks, the problem in her mind will grow smaller. Her animosity, if she has any, will shrink. After you've heard her explain the problem, you might say something such as, "My job, Mrs. Smith, is to keep you happy as a Sears customer. Let's see what seems to be the trouble." You know, there's an old saying that familiarity breeds contempt. You've seen thousands of washers in all kinds of fixes, some in much worse shape than hers. But she hasn't. To you, it's just another washer. But to her, it's her pride and joy. Treat the product with respect and care. It's worth all the money she paid for it. Be gentle with it. If she hovers around, compliment her on her wisdom in buying it. Tell her what a really fine product it is. Fourth, Never criticize. Never criticize the installation, the product, or the way it's manufactured. Never criticize anything. Criticism cannot help, and it can undermine her confidence in Sears. Never talk about your personal problems, how many calls you've had to make that day, your health, or anything at all that rings of criticism or unpleasantness. It can't help anything, and she's not interested in your problems anyway. She's only interested in her own. Just be friendly and efficient. Leave her so that she has more respect than ever for Sears and for the people who represent Sears. And fifth, remember that you're a service expert who also sells, so keep your eye peeled for additional Sears sales. There are a number of ways you can increase your service to the customer and earn extra income for yourself. Always ask the customer if she knows the benefits of Sears service contracts. These contracts provide her with peace of mind and year-round service protection for her Sears appliances. Tell her she can put Sears under contract for service for only pennies a day. Here are a couple of other ways to better serve the customer while adding to your own income. During every service call, acquaint the customer with the other fine products you have to offer. Kenmore Detergent, America's finest wash day product, and Sears' complete line of AM, FM, and television antennas. Your manager will explain this in more detail. Briefly now, let's sum up. 1. Appearance. You are Sears, always look like it. 2. Approach. Smile and greet the customer with a cheerful, "Good morning, I'm from Sears." 3. Listen. Be attentive and show your sincere concern for the customer's problem. 4. Never criticize the product, the installation, or Sears. Compliment her on her good judgment in buying Sears appliances. And 5. Remember that you're a service expert who also sells. Though your reason for being in a customer's home is to properly repair the merchandise, your service call is never complete until you've resold the customer on her purchase, resold her on Sears, and, of course, sold yourself. Thank you.